Hello, this is Mike from Dimensional Walking. Today I want to do a little cryptid action here, and we're going to call this some backwoods beasts of Alabama. Cryptids, creatures, and the whispering of the wild. So here we go. Alabama's woods, and I've lived in Alabama, and I visited a lot. I had relatives there years back, and so I know a little bit about Alabama, even though years back means when I was a kid. But I used to kind of roam the woods, and I even heard some of these stories of these different creatures that kept me always on guard. You never know. I never did see any, thank God, but I definitely heard some of these stories, but I want to convey some of them to you. So here we go. Alabama's forests and swamplands hum with secrets, no doubt about it. Beneath the thick canopy of pine and over boggy stretches of cypress knees lies a tapestry of legend and whispers that generations have passed along. The stories of beasts too strange for science, too persistent for disbelief. These are the backwoods monsters that haunt Alabama's folklore. Cryptids born of mucky waters, shadowy trails, and boundless imagination of the curious minds. Yeah, and there's a bunch of them, okay? But I'm going to just give you some of the ones I thought was kind of interesting and ones that I had heard of when I was a kid. So the first one is just an interesting name, the White Fang, okay? Roaming the Morgan County to Etowa, Etowa, I think it's called. The White Fang has been spotted all for over a century. It's been spotted all over that area for over a century. Witnesses describe it as a massive, shaggy creature covered in stark white fur, sometimes representing a lion, sometimes a yeti, and other times a wildly tall kangaroo. That is really different. I never heard the kangaroo part, but hey, whatever. But one of its signature things is it has this terrifying shrill and echoing, like a scream of a woman or a panther in distress. Okay, so I live out here in Oregon, and I've actually heard something like that. It was blood chilling when I heard it on our property, and I just couldn't believe it. To this day, I still don't believe it, but it was frightening. I wish I was able to record it, but I didn't. It just happened so fast, out of the blue, and it was gone. But anyways, locals locals say this creature moves lightning fast and vanishes in thin air. Some of the folklorists speculated it may have stemmed from early sightings of albino bears or cougars. Others insist it's something more spectacle, a ghost beast, half spirit and half animal, born from energy of the land itself. Okay. And then we got the next one is kind of a Bigfoot Southern style or Southern cousin. Alabama may not be the first place you would basically think about Sasquatch sightings, but if you kind of study Sasquatch, you know that they're everywhere. But anyways, it isn't like the Pacific Northwest where I live out here. But but in the woods, they have their own kind of take on this ape-like wanderer. In the Appalachian foothills touch Alabama on the northeast corner, and there's also I think there's this large national park. I think it's called Bankhead National Forest. It's not a park; it's a forest. And tales abound of this hairy bipedal, um, standing probably 7 foot, seen in flickering, let's say, firelight among broken branches. Hunters whisper about stolen kills and eerie tree knocks echoing through the forest. Okay, sounds pretty typical of a Sasquatch anywheres. Um, there's a particular kind of hotspot there. It's near Sipsey Wilderness, where campers report seeing glowing red eyes, and pungent, musky smell hanging in the air. Both, of course, as we know, those are kind of trademarks of Bigfoot behavior. So it's probably their version of Bigfoot. It may be very similar to or almost identical to the one out in the Pacific Northwest. But as I have told you, Sasquatch is everywhere, from Canada to every place in the United States. To some degree, some places seem to be more of a hotspot. It's been seen in Mexico and Mesoamerica and beyond, South America too. So then there's this next thing is called Hugging Molly of Abbeville. One of Alabama's most unusual and oddly wholesome specters is Hugging Molly. This legend hails from a small town called Abbeville, where she is known as this ghostly woman dressed in black who roams the streets at night. Her goal isn't to harm, it's only to hug. But it's not a gentle hug, it's a really, really strong hug. Apparently, Molly wraps children in her arms and screams in their ears, a parental warning more than a monster attack. The origin of this tale might trace back to a local woman who lost her child and became an urban protector of sorts. Today, she's even so embraced by the town that Abbeville that even there's a restaurant there in her name. And if you pass through Abbeville, Alabama, you probably should stop at the restaurant. I'm sure they have some really interesting stories in the restaurant or by some of the people there that work there. Then there's this play. This next one is an interesting one. It's called the Metal Man of Falkville. So in 1973, a police chief in Falkville responded to a strange call. Someone claimed a UFO had landed in the field. What he found shook him. A humanoid, a figure clad in reflective metal, moving stiffly and silently. He snapped a series of photos, and of course they were blurry. Go figure. They show a strange upright form that doesn't match anything known or a costume at the time. So so there's this metal man. It was never explained. So let's for a moment let's do a little deeper dive on this one because I thought it was fascinating. So I went back and did some more research on it. So I want to share that with you also. So the events in Falkville unfolded in late October evening when the police chief, whose name was Jeff Green, was called to investigate a reported UFO landing in the field. He was expecting, pranksters or misidentified aircraft, but instead he encountered something decisively not normal. The creature, if that is what it was, stood motionless, encased in a tight fitting metallic suit that glimmered under the flash uh, of the police chief's camera, who was taking these black and white photos. He took four of them, captured the being, but I guess to this day, there's never been a clear explanation what it was. So, in further description, the Chief Green described the figures as humanoid, but oddly stiff in motion, such as it seemed to be really mechanical or robotic. He did claim it moved faster than any human could, zigzagging across the field in a way that defied logic. Some say it couldn't have been a man in a homemade aluminum suit, but skeptics point out the speed and the silence as proof it wasn't someone around the town. Okay, so I guess they felt the locals felt that yeah they know it was nobody locally, so it had to be some other crazy person or other that's outside the town. I guess that was their point. But anyways, the bottom line was this is a pretty strange occurrence. So local researchers have linked the Metal Man to a larger wave in the 1970s of UFO activity, suggesting it might have been a part of a larger pattern of extraterrestrial scouting. Some even propose that it was an early attempt at interdimensional travel caught mid phase. To this day, the Falkville photos remain in circulation, grainy, unsettling, unresolved, much like the mystery itself. And I'm going to try to, maybe as my thumbnail, I would try to get one of the photos, of maybe one that looks a little bit better than the other. I may not be able to find them, but I'm going to make an attempt to do that. So then there's this next one is a serpent of the Coosa River. So the Coosa River, I'm not really sure. I think it's towards the center of the state, um, close to Birmingham, I believe, but I'm not sure about that. But anyways, I think I've come across it traveling. I think I remember the Coosa River. So there was these rumors of this monstrous serpent beneath the surface. Early Native Americans' tales spoke of water spirits that could capsize canoes and drag swimmers under. Years later, there was a report emerged that a thick-scaled snake as long as 30 feet glided silently through the waters at dusk. Of course, there's been also fishermen still speak of disturbing movements and sudden splashes too massive for fish. Could this have been some undiscovered aquatic cryptid lurking in the depths, or is it a folklore fueling imagination of those who fish in the haunted waters? I don't know. Who knows? It could be those fishermen stories. You never know. But anyways, it's an interesting story no matter what. So why does all these legends matter? Well, Alabama's beastly folklore is more than just spooky campfire fuel. It's a living archive of fear, wonder, and belief. These tales connect communities to their landscape, their history, weaving superstitions with storytelling and imagination with identity. They also serve as a deeper function protecting the wild. Many locals say that stories keep kids cautious, hikers respectful, and trespassers at bay. When the woods are home to ghostly huggers and 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 howling beasts, you tread more carefully, and perhaps that's the whole point of it all. Interesting. I think it's very interesting. All these were very interesting. And so, hey, with that, happy trails until we meet again. We'll see you. Bye bye.